folks, and welcome to another edition of Chalk Talk Wednesday. I'm your host, Hampig. Today's topic is going to be keyword research, and this is part one of a two-part installment of keyword research. And I'm going to be going over some basics and also some important information that you guys should know about keyword research, some strategy points, and also some concepts that you guys should cover. So let's get started. First, I want to talk about the importance of keyword research and how it conveys to all your marketing needs, user intent, and qualification. To me, keyword research is probably one of the most important aspects of your internet marketing strategies. It should cover on all realms of marketing. So if you do a keyword research and you get a set of information, you have these keywords that you're buying for, and you qualified them, it should play along with all your marketing tactics and needs, whether you do email marketing, some link building efforts, cross-page marketing between different sites, and also content marketing on your site. Your keyword research should be relevant to all your topics of marketing. And it's really important to understand what user intent is of your keyword research, because users are very unique when they search for things, because the way I search for things might be totally different than the way you search for things. So we have to understand a little bit of the basics of the user intent. So I've done a little bit of a diagram here to cover basically the research circle that users go to when they're looking for something online. Whether you're looking to buy a new car or just get some information for credit card apps, almost all users go through the same cycle of user intent when looking for things. And I want to kind of cover that for you guys here. So my first impression of a user is the activity they perform online. So you can have many different types of activities. Someone's just browsing and having fun. Someone's really serious and looking for something. So the cycle might be a little bit different. But in general format, the cycle is always the same. You first start off with activity. For today's topic, I'm going to be going over buying a car, let's say. So the first activity would be looking for sites that you're trying to find information to buy a car with. And then what the user does is basically goes and collects the information. So there's this whole section of, kind of vying for the aspect of collecting. So you want to collect the information and kind of store it in a little area in your head, or you're saving the sites on your web browser, whatever you may have. And then you go into the research aspect of marketing. So the research aspect of it is a user will go in there and try to research the different sites that he stumbled upon after collecting the information. So the buying and the research cycle kind of goes into retrospect, into a research mode. And then the buyer goes and tries to remove some of the sites that he has not found the information. And this is such an integral part of your marketing aspect of it, to understand what the buyer wants, or to understand what the researcher wants, and kind of convey the message that they're looking for, and making them not have your site be removed from their cycle. And we go through this all the time. Even when I'm searching for certain things, I would want to kind of eliminate some of the sites. And sometimes it's a very quick decision for me. I would go in there within 5-6 seconds. If I don't understand what the site's about, I'm out of there. I don't even continue looking for it. So it's important to understand this aspect of the buying cycle. And then what users have at the end of the cycle is what's called an act. So they act upon whatever the intent they may have while doing the search. Whether it's, saving the site for a later time to come back and purchase something, or reading something online, there always is an act that a user performs. So this is somewhat of the cycle that a user would go through. And if you try to understand this and try to understand with your keyword research what that person is looking for, cars in Los Angeles, that is a very vague kind of word. And the intent of that word is kind of not perform to what standards we want certain things to perform on. So that kind of segues into the strategy of your keyword research. So strategy to me is kind of a four-part system. Okay, first you would qualify your words into two groups. You have your long tail keywords. Long tail keywords meaning 3 to 4 phrases. Sports cars in Los Angeles, or sports cars with roofs in Los Angeles, for example, is a long tail keyword. A short tail keyword would be cars Los Angeles or cars in Los Angeles. So there's two groups of keywords. Personally, when I'm first starting off with a site that has not done keyword research, I definitely want to target your long tail keywords, because your long tail keywords are the keywords that usually convert a lot better than your short tail keywords, because there's not too much of a connotative meaning behind the short tail keywords. So your long tail keywords, although they don't have so much volume and so much traffic coming in, they usually perform better. And most of the time, they are some of the easiest ranking keywords you can go after. And when you do your research, you even see the pay-per-click price on some of those long tail keywords are ridiculously high. So the first portion of my strategy would be choosing between long tail and short tail keywords. Don't get me wrong, there are certain short tail keywords that I would want to vie after depending on what format of research I'm doing and for what company. So I'm not saying totally negate the fact that you cannot use short tail keywords, but I'm saying that your main focus should be on long tail keywords. Second strategy I like to do is always try to not copy the competition, but research the competition and find out what it is that they're doing correctly and why are they ranking #1 on certain keywords. And it's very easy to go through and do a site search and and with the page title and some of the meta descriptions, find out what your competition is using for keywords. So the second portion of my strategy is kind of reviewing the competition. The third portion is kind of doing an initial list or a seed list and putting together like my top performing keywords and putting a list together. It could be a huge list. It could be over 1,000 keywords, for example, and then I would cut it down shorter and shorter and shorter until I get my set of keywords. But however you want to kind of perform your keyword research, you can do it. In the second portion of part 2 of this keyword research, I'm going to actually show you how I do my system of qualifying a keyword. And then my third strategy would be site structure. You need to tie in your keywords with your site structure. Your site structure is the way it's kind of architecturally formed, and you have certain pages that mean a certain thing, and sometimes you think that you can plug in that keyword to that page and it'll work fine, and then after you set up the page and you put your content in there, you kind of see, oh, that keyword doesn't work. So most of the time what I would do is set up the architecture first and then try to see what keywords would fit into the pages based on what keywords I'm going for. Sometimes I even form content based on the keywords that I have, or sometimes I just plug in keywords based on the content I have. And about 20% of the time, sometimes when I'm doing the research, 20% of the time I land on a page where I don't have a certain keyword on my list, but I have that awesome content that I want to deliver to the public. So I actually go in and redo my keyword research and go through that major list that I have and find out if I can perform these. So that is the strategy portion of my keyword research, and that covers some of the basics. I can obviously get in more detail about what certain things are going to be covered, but general rule of thumb are those 4 things that you want to cover. The long tail versus short tail, your competition. You want to make sure you go through your competition and find out what they're doing. Your initial list, your good qualifying list that you make, and your site structure. You want to tie all of these things in together. Third thing I want to go over is going to be my toolbox, some of the tools I use. And I'm going to be briefly talking about these tools. In the second portion, I'm going to actually be showing you how I use these tools. It's a much longer video to go through, so this is just a general coverage of it. So let's dive into the toolbox, and I'll tell you guys what I use. My overall favorite tool to use, which is totally free, is going to be Google AdWords tools. I think it's by far one of the best research tools you can have for keywords, because it derives keywords from a seed list and then gives you almost like a tree breakdown of other keywords that are associated with it. You can do exact match, you can do broad match, you can even do related content to that keyword and get really deep into it. And it shows you search volume. And Google is by far the best at this. I've done other research on another site, but by far Google is the best. You can dig deep and find out what keywords it is. And my initial list, when I first derived my initial list, my huge list that I have of, let's say, 1,000 keywords or 1,500 keywords, or whatever it is, 400 keywords, I usually derive it from Google AdWords tools. By far the best. You have to play around with it to know. The second tool that I love to use, and it is a paid service, is SEMrush. Not only is it great for keyword research with your competition, it's also great for finding backlinks for your competition, what they're doing, and overall volume of traffic to that site. So I love using SEMrush. I think it's a great tool. You can kind of see what page they rank on certain things and get some information, but it is a really great tool to have. The third tool that I use is my site search. So my site search is going to be my internal site. So if it's a new site, obviously you're not going to have much site search information. But if it's an existing site that you're doing keyword research or search engine optimization for, there is some great content that you'll find in your site search, and you'll be surprised. Your site search will be comprised of different things users actually go in there and search for. So you can easily find out, coming back into your strategy, your user intent. What are these people on your site looking for? What are they not finding? What are they finding and landing on? How quickly are they leaving your site? So there's some really cool tools in site search that you can do. My fourth tool, and probably my second favorite tool to use when I'm doing keyword research, is SEO Moz. SEOmoz.org is a great site. It's one of my favorite sites. You can go in there and there's a keyword research tool button that you can press. It is a paid version, obviously, but they have some great information on there. You can even use their Open Site Explorer. That has some really good information. In my second video, I'm going to be diving into more details of how I do certain things on that site. And my fifth on my list that I like to cover in my toolbox is my competition. I can easily go into any website and figure out what keywords that they're going for. You can find it in their meta tags, if they're still doing meta tags. You can find it in their description. You can find it in the title bar. And you can use some of these other sites to kind of pull information from them and find out what keywords they're using. Some sites are very good at hiding what kind of keywords they're using, but overall you kind of get a general idea of what they're using. Now, the fourth portion of this is being consistency. It is being consistent on your site with what you do, and also throughout your whole marketing campaign. So after you've built this awesome list of keywords, and you've kind of narrowed it down, and let's say you have a 70-page website and you're using one keyword per page, and that's my recommendation, doing one keyword per page. Sometimes I would do 2 keywords per page, depending on the hierarchy of the page and how easy or how thick the competition is on that keyword. But overall, I like to use 1 keyword per page. In general, you rank much better, and then you don't actually split the juice on the keyword. You actually have constant juice flowing to 1 keyword. So some of the things I like to cover in my consistency is, if I'm doing link building, I want to make sure that I use my keyword set that I've created. I don't want to go off and build links to my site with other keywords. In my description in products or description on pages, content that I built for my pages, I want to make sure that I use the keywords that are on my list that I'm buying for. It is fairly important to get ranked well with Google and any other search engine site. And also, your anchor text, your H1 tags, your anchor text for qualifying links coming in, internal anchor text as well, jumping from one page to another, or linking pages. You want to make sure that all of these keywords kind of fall within that list that you've created. It's fairly important when you're doing your content marketing. Thank you again for joining us for another edition of Chalk Talk Wednesday. Adios.